welcome back. Please step into my office, have a seat. So, in an effort to, once again, go ahead and be a living example of some of the things that I'd like to express or get across to the people that I'm working with and to people in general, I'm going to go ahead and issue a formal apology and retraction of some of the sentiments I expressed in the previous video. If I'm to effectively play the role that I'm tasked with and be an efficient director for you guys, I can't. I need to remain objective and, kind, ultimately, and I cannot be judging people in this manner. So, I do retract that, and I apologize specifically to the person in question, but to everybody involved. That was wrong of me. It was a stupid mistake, and I'm going to go ahead and learn from that and change my mind, because that's what needs doing. That's how you appropriately handle situations of this sort. And so I am sorry that I feel bad about it. It was, as I said, a stupid mistake, and I knew that. I thought about deleting the video, removing the video entirely, but I needed to stand my ground on the issues at hand insofar as regards the rest of the video and what I had to say there. It's a very important issue, especially with the transgender community. This is an important issue that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be cleared up, and there's just so much wrong with it, fundamentally wrong. And yes, we can say objectively that there is a right or a wrong in this scenario. Where it comes to speaking of that specific person, that's a presumption that I made based on past experiences with other people's and other situations. And, I could be entirely wrong about that. This person could be precisely what they present themselves as being. It's just that when a person repeatedly alters it, keeps changing what they are, there are people that are just being trendy and making a mockery of what we experience, because again, I am like you, and this is of a personal, regard to me. This is a personal offense to me, because where it comes to, I know you guys don't want to believe this, really. I guess it doesn't fit the profile of what you'd like to think about who and what I am in this scenario. But the struggles that you've experienced insofar as regards your identity and your gender and whatnot, which in the case of this particular pattern, it would seem that this is, as I've stated, a psychiatric issue regarding identity at a deeper level and not necessarily representative of anything having to do with gender specifically. But I digress. That's neither here nor there at the moment. That is a different matter as it stands. But where it comes to people doing that sort of thing, it's a personal offense to me, because as I was saying, you guys don't really want to believe it, I guess. And I can see why. It's understandable. But the struggles that you've experienced, I've experienced as well in much the same way. The only difference being that in my circumstances, I was never of the mind or never had the idea that I was granted or appropriated an easy out. Like, I couldn't just go ahead and become who I would like to have been. That was never an option for me. And so I had to fight through it and learn to adapt and adjust and get to know, understand and learn to live with and even learn to love the person that I decided to become. But anybody that gets close to me and gets to know me personally, especially in a romantic setting, it becomes evident to them that I likely should have been constructed of a different chromosome. My ex-wife can attest to this firmly. She does all the time. She knew, this was evident to her, of course, but we were very much in love, and there was, we don't really take gender identification or orientation into regard so heavily because it's not really something that actually matters when it gets down to it. Like, that's not... Love is love, and this is something that we all need to understand fundamentally. Like, you either love or you fear, and this is speaking directly to the nature of the circumstances at hand. But you know, she jokes around about it now all the time, you know, saying, well, it's obvious, you know, who you are at heart, but I think there's something that she missed there, Sweetie Cheeks, in case you happen to watch this. Surprise, you're a lesbian. Anyways, that is true, very true, but, it's not something that we took, you know, into account so much because it's not something that really matters where it comes to affairs of the heart. You love someone because of who that person is, not what that person is. And, you know, you ultimately, bottom line, you love or you fear a person or a people, a certain type of person. And the hate for hate scenario, it seems like you guys, some of you guys out there, a lot of you guys, most especially with the trans community, I understand that you've been oppressed because I was oppressed too. And I fought back, and my generation, again, we fought back, we won. And you can make the decision that you make and be the person that you are and express yourself as the person you want to be because of that. Well, I can't, you know, I mean, I could be, I suppose if we need to take the semantics of it into regard and like have selective profiling, I could be transsexual in a sense. I could like dress as a woman or be a cross-dresser and go out and express myself that way. And I mean, I have that option now, but it's not something that, like, I'm programmed too, you know. I'm not entirely free of the system. I have programming too, and I would not feel comfortable doing that. I couldn't do that because of the way that I'm built. And I can't get out of that, although, I mean, really, it wouldn't be manageable, it wouldn't be effective, and it would make me a much less effective person. I wouldn't be able to reach people in the way that I do. It would really strike a heavy blow to what we're trying to accomplish here and what we've been fighting for so long. So I couldn't do that, you know. But you guys can, and we love for you to, and it's great that you're doing that, and we want to support that heavily, but you can't be hating. When you allow somebody else's hatred to make you a hateful person, you're losing the battle that we're fighting. You gotta fight back. You gotta snap to, wake up. The real battle is against that hatred. It's not against any other people. These people, at heart, they are not, you know, remove all of the surface values. Remove the gender identification. Remove the personality profiling. Remove the courtships and the fucking factioning. And just consider under what circumstances is allowing for somebody else's hatred to make you a hateful person toward them an acceptable response, or in any way an efficient, you know, response, an appropriate consideration to make. Why? How it's clear, and from a spotter's perspective, I mean, it's ordinary. It happens with all of the communities that we're dealing with. It's the same thing over and over and over again, this hate for hate mentality. You know, everybody's got somebody that's oppressing them and they hate them for it and they're waging this war against them. Why do you think that is? Why do you think everybody's in a battle with some other faction of people? Why do you think everybody's divided? You gotta snap out of it, because again, as I was saying, from a spotter's perspective, it's ordinary, it's all over the place, but it's fucking shocking nonetheless that you don't see this, that you can't see, that somehow you miss this. As clear as it is, right up in front of your fucking face, you entirely miss this. You look right through it at the other person and say, I fucking hate you. Say, you throw a rock at me, and I catch the rock and I throw it back. and I hit you. Congratulations to me, I've managed to damage somebody that for all intents and purposes is a fine, wonderful, outstanding person with love in their heart. Nothing wrong with them at all. They're a great person that doesn't deserve to be damaged. But because of some programming that society has put into play in their mind, they threw a rock at me. You know, not of their own design. This is something that they were kind of forced to do. And why did I throw the rock back? Why did I hurt them in response? Because they made me do it. Because it was an unconscious reaction. And where it comes to the response that our rep made, our former rep, I guess, I mean, you're still our rep if you want to be, but you can't be. The way that you responded here, that we can't have that representing us. So I mean, either you're gonna have to change your mind, or you're gonna have to drop out. But I guess you already want to drop out anyways because you don't like me personally. Again, a personal objection to me as a personality. It's not reflective of what the initiative stands for. Ultimately, my personality is not representative of our cause. I'm just the director. I work for you. I'm just at your service. But suggesting that you said that you guys were mad at me because I was being transphobic. No, actually I wasn't. There's not a single thing to suggest in any of the statements I made, any of the arguments I raised, that I was in any way transphobic. And again, it's pretty deeply offensive to me that you should say something like that, because again, I am like you. So, and this is me expressing myself as that, like, this is the best I can do. Again, it's far too late for me to go ahead and make that decision, and it's beyond my capacity. I couldn't afford to do something like that. In any way, money-wise, financially, time, and insofar as concerns what we're trying to accomplish, it's not affordable. It's not an affordable option for me. It was never an option that was presented to me as being in any way acceptable. I never had that chance like you guys did. It's unfortunate, sad but true. But I am who I am, and again, I've learned to love myself and be comfortable as who I am, and I think I'm doing a pretty damn good job of it. I do make mistakes from time to time. I am wrong sometimes, not often, but I've gotten pretty damn good at being me, but I do fuck up from time to time. I'm not perfect, and I'm sorry for that. I'm going to try my best to get better for you guys, and I'm going to change my mind where it's appropriate. I'm going to adapt to the scenario appropriately, as I should like for you to. Being hateful, period, is the obviously wrong answer. And it's because you're not really being hateful, and they're not really being hateful. They're being fearful. You could say that some of these people are transphobic, but I mean, saying that I'm transphobic because I disagree with you, I mean, I disagree with something that the transgender community is doing. I disagree with the way that they're managing their scenarios, so I must be transphobic. You understand that that's just an incoherent, unconscious response, like a reflexive measure. It's a reflex, because you're programmed that way. You've been programmed that way by society, just as these people have been programmed the way that they are. And the both of you are reacting to each other as a reflex. You're not being creative, you're being reactive. You're not aware of it. You have to try and be lucid, make conscious decisions about who and what you are and how you wish to express yourself. Do you wish to express yourself as a hateful person, afraid of other people? I mean, I understand with the transgender community, I understand that you're in danger. Fuck me, it scares the shit out of me. And if you could see what I see, if you could see what may be coming because of the decisions that both sides are making as it stands, and because of some of the factors in play that people are trying to sabotage you, and if they're successful, I'm very scared for what might happen in what could be the near future. which I anticipated it might have already started happening by now. Thankfully it hasn't. We've been able to push it back, but if we can't get our shit together, get together united, and stand against the sabotage factors in play consciously, we're in trouble. We're together. If you don't like that, too bad. That's what is really happening. We're fighting together against this mentality, this programming that's in play, this social programming that's gotten out of fucking control, and it's damaging everybody. It's causing divisions left and right. It's in religion, it's in the politics, it's in every fucking move we make. This programming is in there, and you're not seeing it. It's very, very disturbing that you're not seeing it. So, I mean, I don't know, I'm apologetic for, I feel bad about what I said. That was stupid. I couldn't remove the video entirely. I needed to put that up there, and I kind of liked it anyway. I mean, I thought it was a good story. It was stupid of me to say what I said, and I retract that. I apologize to the person in question. But again, that is real. That happens, and very offensive to me, and that you should, I mean, it's like that you suggested that I was being transphobic, and then also you accused me of gaslighting, which, from what I understand, I've been told again by my my advisor, my I suppose you could say my sexuality advisor, Jay, we'll call her now. That gaslighting is something that happens in relationships, like intimate relationships, I guess, which we don't have an intimate relationship. A. B, I guess it's gaslighting is trying to convince somebody else that something true is not, or that something that happened didn't, or that it happened in a different way. Just trying to kind of convince somebody else that, you know, trick them into thinking they're wrong, or into doubting themselves in some way or another, which is actually an indication of sociopathic tendencies. That's an indicator of sociopathic tendencies in a relationship. So, I mean, now you're suggesting that I'm a sociopath and that I have an intimate relationship with you, as from what I know about the term itself. Which again, I guess we're really grasping onto this terminology. This rhetoric is more important than the reality of the scenario to you guys, it appears. And where it comes to the gender identification, semantics, I mean, we were warned about this. This rhetoric causes so many problems, and it is made up. It's not real. None of it is real. What's real is the feeling behind it. Feeling is the language of the soul. The words that you're making up to identify what 57 different genders, there are not more than, there's male, there's female, and then there is a kind of a fusion between the two. Could be considered neither or both, or transgender, or what's it called? What's it called? There's the word I lost. You know, where you're not really identifiable as one or the other, I suppose you could say, where you're just kind of a mix of both. That could be considered third gender, but beyond that, no, there are not any other genders. You're making this up, you're hallucinating, and you're making a great deal of trouble with it, like you're just stirring the fucking pot. You're starting shit left and right, you're trying to create wars, and trying to keep people divided. For what? This pretty much, this consideration regarding the rhetoric, it kind of stereotypes you as being what I could say, just a troublemaker, really. Like, I mean, we really need to work on that, is what I'm saying. With the transgender community, I mean, the lesbian and gay community, they're not really doing that so much, but the transgender community, you guys are really blowing this out of proportion, and we can't afford to do that. We have serious problems that we need to be addressing together now. these semantics are like covering up, like you're creating a masquerade is a hallucination. It's not real. It's an illusion that you're placing over is a facade to cover up the reality of the scenario, which is that you guys are hateful towards each other. You know, there are people that are programmed to be hateful and to discriminate against transgender people, against gay people, to be discriminating and you know, to be hateful. And what you're doing is going from having the choice to be who you are, to express yourself as who you are, and you should be happy about that. But you're being hateful instead. You're allowing for these people to make you hateful people. And you're fighting back with rhetoric and semantics and just hateful, despicable. It's a crime, really. I mean, you're taking our language and you're tampering with it in ways that are dividing people and causing people to be, you know, that like somebody's gonna get angry at me for using the wrong gender pronoun. Get the fuck out of here, man. Come on. I mean, if you can't see how stupid that is, I'm sorry. It's stupid. It's childish. It's immature and it's amateur. And we need to get over that, man. Come on. I apologize if that upsets you, but you really got to look at the reality of it. Why does that upset you? Where is that coming from? What rationality do you have, or reasonable, you know, rationality to be angry at me for suggesting that this terminology is childish? Like, for example, what reasonable rationality do you have to presume that I was being transphobic? Me, of all people. My God, man, come on. Why would you say something like that? And the gaslighting thing, I don't even see how that applies. Like, yeah, I'm trying to convince you that you're wrong about something, because it is. Anybody can clearly see that being a hateful person is objectively wrong. It's not a riddle, man. It's not fucking rocket science. And being hateful in response to hate, not effective, not going to work. Again, it's never worked before, it's not going to work now. I can tell you that, yeah, hugging it out with the Nazis, as you said, that can work. That's worked many times before. It can work now. If we can manage to pull together and re-educate these people, get through to them. You know, if you had other people like me working with you that can talk to these people, get through to them and change their mind about things, if we can just manage to wake up and be lucid enough to realize that this brain belongs to us, this life belongs to us, and we can in fact change our mind about things. We do not have to stick to our guns. It's that stick to your guns, be an adult and stick to your guns mentality that's actually childish. You're seeing things backwards. We're comprehending in reverse. We're seeing time backwards. You understand? You're thinking that this be an adult and stick to your guns mentality is mature. It's not. It's immature. And it's pulling you backwards, where in fact being more open and childlike, being more honest, being more flexible is the actual maturity that we're trying to reach, that some of us have reached, that the rest of us need to be reaching. Bruce Lee said it, be fluid like water, be flexible. He wasn't just talking about the way he moves his body, he was specifically talking about the way you think. You gotta change the way you're thinking. Anyways, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I lost the fighting spirit. I'm sorry for that. Something happened that really hurt me, and I needed to back off. So I figured I'd make this to try and express. You know, I'm sorry that it upsets you, but what I'm stating is obviously true. That's self-evident. You don't need to be questioning it. It tells its own story. But insofar as regards me, you know, suggesting something personal about a specific person, that's wrong of me. I shouldn't have done that. I acknowledge that, and I retract it. I apologize. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Keelah, Taerve, siari, Namasté.